I'm a fan of James Bond. You can even see over my shoulder, I got a movie poster from Skyfall, one of the 2 out of the 5 of the films that are actually any good. I've seen 3 of them, okay, and that's one of them. That and Casino Royale is one of my favorite movies, and I haven't watched it in a while. And again, I've got my critiques of it, but I'm even a fan, okay, even during the time when James Bond, when a large majority of the fandom thinks that he probably lost his edge, and Daniel Craig himself is a big contributing factor to the downfall of James Bond. I'm totally behind that, okay? You can go ahead and you can interpret it whatever you like. You know what? Hey, it doesn't detract from the fact that the Roger Moore, Sean Connery, okay, even the Pierce Brosnan crazy stuff, okay, those are all still there. I got the 50-year anniversary collection. I'm never going to be out of old school good James Bond films because let's be completely honest, okay, we're never, ever, 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 ever going to be seeing a return to that form because you take a look at what's going to be going on into the future with it, and James Bond is evolving as men are. Great. Wonderful, fantastic. What do you mean by that? Well, the leftist interpretation of what it means to evolve as a man, which is just to become, more like a woman. Wear a dress outside in public, wear makeup. Not in a fun sense like the 1980s in a glam metal band, but no. Just continue to double down on what makes movies more and more fucking unwatchable as the years go on. And apparently on the first week of October, you're supposed to get some sort of word. Maybe it's going to be a casting decision. And it's a shame. It's a shame that they got to put this out here first and foremost because it looks like they actually got, 3 frontrunners for the film or for the role. They're probably going to make a hell of a good James Bond, okay? Like, I'm familiar with 2 of them, and then the other guy definitely has the look down pat, but I ain't gonna give a shit, especially if it's gonna be James Bond is gonna be more in touch with his feminine side. Nobody fucking wants that shit, okay? Movies have been just centered around this idea that, instead of what made James Bond popular, what made him the cultural icon that he is, no. We just need to go ahead and reverse that. We just need to make him more in touch with his emotions. We need to have a feminine influence to James Bond. Unfucking believable. James Bond producers have said the upcoming movies of the franchise will have bigger roles for women and see more emotional side of the 007 spy. Great, because bringing women into classically male domains has never ever backfired before. Like the Star Wars sequel trilogy is just as good as the original, or hell, even the prequel trilogy. She-Hulk is just as good as the Incredible Hulk. Everybody's looking forward to season 2 of Loki with female Loki instead of regular Tom Hiddleston Loki. That's so much better. Ironheart is going to be great because she's just not going to shit all over the legacy of Tony Stark, one of the most popular characters in movie history. Yay! You'd think, seeing the lack of success in the theaters for any of the movies that double down on this ideology, they would decide to maybe course correct with the most masculine character ever presented on film, okay? James Bond was loved by men. And you know who else loved James Bond? Women as well. I'm old enough to remember when women would vie for the position to be the Bond girl in the films, okay? Loved the interpretations of the Bond girls like Ursula Andress way back in the cut. Famke Janssen, Ava Green, she had a pretty sizable role in Casino Royale, and thank God, because that is the most immaculate rack that has ever... Anyways, but who actually wants that? Which James Bond fan wants a bigger role for women, which is just basically going to be, James Bond's going to have a partner, and she's really going to keep him in check, making sure that he doesn't have any quippy lines that made him an icon. No, of course. Just fucking have the balls. Just go ahead and make... Well, 006 was, I guess, Sean Bean's character from GoldenEye. But just make a totally different franchise with a female spy, okay? If you want to go ahead, if you guys decided, because you got all of that backlash from No Time to Die when everybody thought that it was just going to be the bait and switch. James Bond was going to die, which, spoilers, he does at the end. And then it was going to be replaced with Lasagna Lynch on top of that. And hey, you're just going to have to fucking deal with it. And because you realize that, oh shit, we actually probably can't do that. And now we're just going to have to go back to casting a British guy with brown hair, kind of like how it's described in all of Ian Fleming's work. You could just make your own franchise, okay? You could have Jane Bond if you want, but every single fucking time you go to try to make a female spy film, it fucking sucks, okay? Because this is something, okay? When I was talking about the Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie shit, it's a reason why, and I think I finally figured out why I don't like Angelina Jolie so much, is because she's always thrust in these action scenes, okay? And she always just looks so unfucking believable. It's because she's so masculine. And that's something else that just doesn't resonate with people, okay? Because that's just ingrained in everybody, okay? You can suspend you can suspend your disbelief if, you know, Black Widow's beating the fuck out of 15 different security guards, 250 pound, 6 foot tall men, all on her own because, okay, she's a super spy, she's been ultra trained. You can kind of, but that just stretches it still, okay? But if you have a more grounded story that you want to tell, something with hand-to-hand combat, and you're going to tell me that, well, one of the casting options, apparently one of the frontrunners, Henry Cavill, who would be a tremendous James Bond, by the way. That dude, I don't know what the fuck he did in a past life, but that dude should be the biggest fucking movie star alive right now. But that aside, okay? And somebody else that he worked with previously on a couple of different films, Gal Gadot. If you think that those two could legitimately fight it out and Gal would have a modicum of a hope in a hand-to-hand fight, that shit doesn't make any goddamn sense. But that's what these grounded movies want you to believe. And it's something that men and women both intrinsically understand that that just doesn't make any fucking sense. And we're kind of tired of seeing that forced down everybody's throat. That's why it's kind of really obvious where cinema's at right now. It's definitely on the decline, okay? This current cycle of films is definitely on its downslide, okay, into the reinvention period. Marvel Phase 4 has been a complete and utter failure, mostly because it's just been women subverting everything when it comes to the directors, the writers, or just simply replacing the characters with female versions. And hey guys, don't worry, she's worked just as hard to get into this position. Like the one-to-one comparison where, oh yeah, Hulk had to learn how to control his powers, okay? Had to reconcile years and years of medical testing being done on him by the United States government, okay? Had to survive a suicide attempt. But She-Hulk gets catcalled sometimes, but I've also seen that actress and nobody's fucking catcalling that ugly cunt. But no, eventually cape and tights films, they're eventually just gonna fall out of vogue. Just like Sword and Sandals gladiator films, westerns, film noirs, they've just all kind of fallen out of vogue. I can kind of see where things are going into the future based on the response of specifically like independent media. When you have clearly defined gender roles represented on screen, strong masculine men, strongly feminine females, okay? If people start to write those into films, that's going to be the next wave of popularity based on the reception, okay? The most popular YouTube streams, Twitch streams, all of the discussions surrounding that type of stuff, as popular as that stuff is, if it's represented on screen, that's going to be the next thing to take off. I have nothing to support that. That's just my feeling on the situation. I know that's kind of dangerous to take in totality, but that's my opinion on that. Anyways, let's go back to how James Bond is not going to be James Bond going forward. Barbara Broccoli, how appropriate, fucking vegetable, and Michael G. Wilson spoke about their plans for the franchise following the departure of Daniel Craig, a guy who got the dream job of many people in Hollywood, but then just looked like he couldn't be asked to fucking reprise the role after Casino Royale. Producer Barbara, 62, yes, a 62-year-old woman and a 54-year-old man are they've got their finger on the pulse of society and what everybody out there wants right now. Unfucking believable. Humanize the once womanizing spy. Nobody wants that. Okay, people liked James Bond for everything that he did in the previous, how many fucking films prior to No Time to Die? What was it? Wasn't that the 30th film? Anyways, I'm a fan, but not like a fan. She also spoke about the recent Bond films have featured larger roles for women. Yeah, and how well they've performed because of it. Adding that they plan to incorporate meatier female roles in the new films as well. Why? It's an evolution, she told Variety magazine. Bond is evolving just as men are evolving. Would you call that evolving? I'd call it devolving. I don't know who's, evolving at a faster pace. I can tell you is from a societal level where this evolution is landing everybody. Women are on antidepressants, they're alone, they're single, and they're fucking miserable. Men, was it 30% of men 18 to 28 haven't had sex in the past year or are still virgins? Marriage is at an all-time low in recorded history, and 60% of them are still ending in divorce. And that's all coming, and that's coming where all the messaging is about, you go girl, strong and independent woman, you can have it all. And then at the end of the day, if any woman embraces all that stuff, they end up writing an op-ed in one of these fucking fucking feminist outlets saying, feminism lied to me, and here's why I'm miserable at 60 and contemplating the end. Really good evolution we have going on here. No Time to Die saw Lashana Lynch, this bitch, play fellow spy Nomi, marking history as the first black female 00 agent. How fucking wonderful. And it was so well received. Never gonna watch that film. Speaking about Daniel's more humanized version of Bond, again, I like Skyfall. I think it's the second best Daniel Craig Bond film. I don't think that that's a controversial take. And again, Casino Royale is fucking great. But yeah, man, he ended up developing a huge case of one-itis at the end of Casino Royale that ended up running completely through the entire film franchise, and that didn't help anybody. That was him being more human, and where are we at the end of this? Is anybody really clamoring for the next James Bond film, or they just like let the fucking franchise die at this point? You ruined it. Why do you continue to ruin it? Why do you hurt me so much? Speaking about producers of the franchise, with her half-brother Michael, have said it's the first time the spy was cracked open emotional damage of Bond. Yeah, that's not the point. He's supposed to be the ultimate male spy. He's not supposed to be in touch with his feminine side. This is that whole fucking female dating advice. Oh, just be you. You should get more in touch with your emotions. We want our men to be vulnerable. No, you don't. It's just the politically correct thing to fucking say, and nobody likes political correctness. They'll pay lip service to it, but in private, they don't fucking want it. They want the Sean Connery James Bond, somebody who'll grab a bitch by her fucking shoulders, throw her down on the bed, give her the time of her life, and listen to her spill all of the secrets about the boss because she's in love, he got what he wants, and if she's nice, he might come back for seconds. People liked that James Bond. They didn't like a motherfucker crying about what could have been. If only I would have got there a little bit sooner, she wouldn't have drowned in that elevator shaft. Spoilers for a film that came out in 2006. The films over Daniel's tenure were the first time we really connected to the emotional arc, yes, to its detriment, its ultimate detriment. Barbara and Michael, 80. Yeah, no, anyways. Also touched on their mission to find a new actor to play Bond. Yeah, I'm sure they're just lining up for this, and it's just not going to be somebody who will fucking ultimately check a diversity box. Unless we are to believe with these frontrunners, because, God, they're good selections. It's just, I don't fucking believe it. After, Daniel stepped back from playing the role for his fifth and final installment, and he basically had to have his contract used as a whip in order for him to show up for the fifth film. Unfucking believable. Addressing rumors that Idris Elba is in line for the part. Again, fantastic actor, but again, James Bond has a certain fucking look, and a black guy is not gonna fucking pass. If you want to have a black spy, totally fine with that. Make your own fucking franchise. James Bond is a white English guy. Ta-da! Barbara said he hasn't been in touch with a Luther actor recently, but insisted they love him. I think he's already turned it down in some form or fashion anyways. But they admitted that Idris, 50, would be reluctant to take such a long commitment, saying that Michaels was working hard enough to sign on Daniel when he was still in his 30s. Ugh. Said they were also similar challenges when considering a much younger actor for the role, saying that they need to understand that the part is a very long commitment. Or at least it should be. Should be. Wilson said it's a huge investment for Eon Productions to bring out the new Bond when Broccoli, unbelievable, described the new casting a new 008 as a complete reinvention. Oh, get it? It's like titties. You should put in 8008 because then it would be boob. He also said the actor they pick has to be the best fit for their plans for Bond and blah, 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 blah. Get to the fucking casting already, because again, this is just going to change. Stars including Tom Hardy. God, he would be good. That motherfucker's got he must have the exact same fucking agent as Henry Cavill, because again, that dude should be huge, okay? I understand that your model fucked this way through the Dark Knight Rises, the fire rises. He's intimidating, okay? He's pretty based in some of his interviews. I don't think he's a very tall guy, so he wouldn't exactly be all too statuesque, but he'd be a good pick. Richard Madden, I seen a picture of him. He's the guy who at least looks the part, and Henry Cavill, that would be perfect fucking casting. But whatever, has been tipped as frontrunners to be cast as Bond after Barbara confirmed the next agent would be a man. Yeah, we can't go that far yet, okay? Tried though, you fucking tried. Venom actor Tom, 45, seemingly confirmed that he wants to be the next Bond. That would be fucking awesome. By refusing to talk about the part in fear it would get him blacklisted. Speaking to the Daily Beast in 2017, he admitted, if I mentioned it, it's gone. Explained, you know, there's a saying amongst us in the fraternity of acting and in the fellowship of my peer group. If you're to talk about it, you're automatically out of the race. So it's possibly comment. Oh, so I can't possibly comment on that one. Yeah, that was back in 2017. That was still at the time when Daniel Craig was like, I don't want to be Bond anymore. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Actually, you know what? Hey, man, maybe he kind of knew what was going to happen with the character of James Bond. Is like, I don't want to be a part of this fucking nonsense anymore. They're going to make me such a bitch. Maybe he was onto something. Well, Henry, Cavill. Why didn't you use last names, you fucking weirdos? 39. He's 39? Has been on record for years indicating that he's still interested in the coveted role should an opportunity arise. He should be. Okay, he fucking well should be. Both of those guys. Perfect casting. It'd be great. Tom Hardy, kind of a return to the fucking hard-hitting roots. And then again, I think my folks seen the Man from U.N.C.L.E. That's when Henry Cavill was a spy. Oh yeah, he was also doing some kind of espionage shit in Mission Impossible 2. God, he'd be great for that role, but who knows? It'd probably be some fucking black gay guy. He said in the Sunday Times in 2021 that time will tell if he becomes the latest actor to portray the iconic role while Daniel Craig exiting the franchise. You don't know which direction they want to take Bond in, and so I like to say that everything's always on the table. The Superman star who was up for the role in 2005 when Daniel was cast. That would have been good, too. Anyways, speculated on who could be eyed for the role. He told GQ in 2020, oh yeah, back when they used to interview men, that it would absolutely jump at the opportunity if it arose, as he would love to play Bond, and it would be very, very exciting. Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but he's way too pretty to be Bond. No homo or anything like that. He's just way too manicured. That's fucking weird. Another favorite is Regé Jean-Page, who admitted last year that he's flattered to be included among the host of British stars tipped for the iconic role. Imagine that. Oh, he's another frontrunner. What would you think about playing Bond? I'm flattered. Meanwhile, Tom Hardy is basically gushing over the role, and Henry Cavill's like, please pick me. That's another thing, okay? If I'm to just rag about Hollywood in a greater sense, you have these people, okay? The people who are writing these properties, acting in these franchises that are beloved by the fans, okay? They couldn't give a fuck about the source material. They just want to tell our own story, which again is all fine and dandy. If you're going to do your own fucking project, there's already established lores, characters, all of that shit in the certain franchise. But no. This is all about, this also speaks to the greater degradation of Hollywood, as it were. There's no invention, there's no creation. It's just simply subversion. Subversion and destruction. That's why you have remake after remake, okay, or iteration on iteration. Because these so-called creative types that are out there, the liberals, the leftists, all that kind of stuff, they've just gone to university. They've all gone to the same fucking writing classes. They've all gone to the same classrooms. They learn the exact same fucking shit over and over again, and it's all infused with Marxist intersectional ideology, and it's all underpinning the fact they don't like society as it is, and they just want to represent their fucking utopian ideal that is just not popular to the masses. It's the type of societal rot, and you're seeing it right now in James Bond, because James Bond, like I've said multiple times in this video, has a certain look. It was even a big thing, if you guys remember, back in 2005 when Daniel Craig was cast, okay? Oh, he's blonde. James Bond has brown hair. What the fuck is this shit? That was a big thing. Could he pull it off? Casino Royale was the success that it was, and everybody was kind of fine with it after that. But now you're at a time when hardcore fans are pissed off. Okay, nobody's even talking about No Time to Die anymore. They're kind of like, is James Bond a woman now? Because that's kind of stupid. And it's like, no, that didn't end up happening. Oh, they're going to be announcing a new James Bond. Cool, I guess. Nobody fucking cares about this stuff. Congratulations, you just bring back the same people to fucking subvert and destroy and move on. But what does this the Jean-Page fucking dude have to say? He told the Mirror, the B word. I think that if you're British and you do anything of note, the other people take notice of, then people will start talking about that. Yeah, he just sounds like he's brimming with excitement about taking this role. Meanwhile, Hardy's on record since 2017 saying, I don't want to talk about it, but it's fucking awesome if I could. Despite being the bookie's favorite, the British Bridgerton star, oh god, of course he is, said that he's been bemused by the idea of making any plans at this moment in history. Oh yes, it's going to be historic, and nobody's going to care, and has given up doing so. Barbara, the daughter of the original James Bond producer Albert Broccoli, said the previously told Patient fans that they'd still be waiting some time for the 26th Eon film, as shooting for the next epic is at least 2 years away. Yeah, don't expect anything until like 2027 probably. And again, is anybody going to care at that point? Or is Hollywood just going to be basically fucking done at this point? Oh cool, Wanda's going to come back and she's going to, I don't know, fucking blast Spider-Man out of the sky. How fucking adorable. Nobody cares. Speaking at a dinner where she and screenwriter Michael, 80, were awarded BFI fellowships in June. Yeah, see, they already fucking hung it up at this point. Barbara also hinted at major changes to the character. She said she's reinventing the MI6 agent. Great. According to Daily Mail's Richard Eden, she teased, I'd say the filming is at least 2 years away. It's a reinvention of Bond. Yeah, you reinvented him for No Time to Die, and look at how well that worked out. She also said she and Michael have not started scripting the upcoming 007, but you already are going to cast him? Cool. I don't know what we want to do, but we're going to have somebody in place, and then we'll just work around it. Half-siblings are handed the reins of Albert Broccoli's famed Eon Productions in 95, a year before he passed away at 87. That's the other dude. Again, that's not too terribly far of a departure. Richard Madden, I think his name is, or something like that. He was in the Eternals. Sorry to hear about that. Nobody saw him anyway, so again, that's why I'm not too terribly familiar with him. He looks like he's cut from that same Richard Moore cloth, which I do appreciate. It's just not going to be him now, is it? But I guess we're going to be hearing about this shit October 5th, 2022. I don't know. It should be out by then. I'll make sure that it's out by then. I don't know why that's James Bond Day. I guess if you just add everything up. No, even still, that doesn't make any fucking... whatever. Maybe that was the first day that the James Bond film came out. I don't know. But to be completely honest, Hollywood's going to be a totally different place by the time that this actually sets to film. So who knows how better or worse everything's going to be. I think we can probably already see that it's going to be worse than it already is, which is already at an all-time low. Nobody's enthusiastic about most of the shit that's in Hollywood and what they are. That's not what James Bond is ultimately going to be. Remember what the billion-dollar highest grossing movie of this year is, Top Gun. Not a whole lot of wokeness in that one. And people are still clamoring about seeing that. Meanwhile, how many Marvel films came out this year, and how many of them cracked a billion? All right. But hey, at least they got historic firsts. So maybe we'll be in store with that on October 5th. Can't wait. Can't wait. Like one of the commenters are out there eagerly anticipating the news. Yeah, I'm sure the check fucking cleared so that they're eagerly anticipating it. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.